This woman gets everything she ever wanted in life after unexpectedly gaining the ability to read men's minds. The movie begins with our protagonist, Allie, a successful sports agent. She is arguing over the phone with an employee from a magazine because they apparently don't want to put her client on the cover. Her gay assistant, Brandon, arrives to remind her of her schedule, and they head to her office together. On the way, they run into her quite attractive neighbor who catches both their attention. She tries to flirt with him, but is completely ignored. This doesn't ruin her day, as today, in a company meeting, they'll be choosing one of the new partners, and she's pretty sure it will be her. In the car, Brandon asks her if now that she'll be a partner, she could promote him to a sports agent. But she simply replies that he doesn't have the character for it. Later at the building, she runs into her colleague Ethan, who teases her by reminding her how he was chosen as a partner over her last time. At the meeting, Nick, the company's boss, talks about Jamal Berry, a very promising young man they need assigned to their company. After this, Mitt discusses the new partner's qualities and then tosses a ball to him. But Ollie intercepts it, having been sure it was meant for her. After this embarrassing moment, Ollie heads to her boss's office to confront him about not being chosen. She says they're sidelining her just because she's a woman. But Nick responds that to become a partner, she would need a unanimous vote. And unfortunately, one of her colleagues voted against her. Additionally, he reminds her that she doesn't have a client in the big leagues to blow off steam. She goes to her dad's boxing gym and tells him about her failure. Ollie doesn't understand how to fight against a system that's rigged against her. Her dad advises her show her worth by assigning Jamal the young prospect her boss mentioned. After the gym, they go to a bar for a drink. There, Ollie notices a new, handsome bartender. She sends her dad home and goes to meet the guy whose name is Will. She flirts with him, and after a couple of cocktails, they head to his place for some fun. But what was supposed to be a pleasant, intimate moment turns into a nightmare for the guy, as Ollie only thought about her own satisfaction. The next morning, she is woken up by Ben, the bartender's son, who has her underwear on his head. Ollie runs out of the room in horror, seeing the family photos around the house. She feels guilty for wrecking a marriage, and before can explain things. She quickly leaves for work at the company. She meets Jamal and his father, Joe, who makes all the important decisions in his son's life. They demand to be on the cover of a major magazine. So Ollie asks one of her other clients, a champion, to share the cover with Jamal. But due to her ego, the champion refuses. Jamal is left without a photo, which infuriates his father, and they both leave after work. Ollie attends the bachelorette party of one of her best friends. After chatting for a while, one of the girls announces the special surprise for the night, a session with an incredible psychic. Ollie is skeptical at first, but eventually she has a face-to-face conversation with a mysterious woman. She lays out the tarot cards for Ollie for a long time and then starts talking about her life, mentioning that Ollie has problems at work and that she'll have an affair with a man whose name starts with the letter W. Hearing this, Ollie tenses up. Then the psychic offers her a special tea that leaves her feeling a bit dizzy. Later, she and her friends go to the club to keep celebrating while dancing. She trips and hits her head, knocking herself unconscious. The next day, she wakes up in a hospital and suddenly starts hearing the doctor's thoughts, which scares her a bit. But she doesn't think much of it until later. When Brandon arrives to pick her up as he drives, he thinks some pretty bad things about her. After hearing his thoughts, she confronts him and realizes her new power overwhelmed. She gets out of the car to relax, but ends up more upset after hearing the problems and perverted thoughts of the man on the street. She arrives at work, where she unfortunately keeps hearing her coworkers' thoughts. Ollie gets desperate and asks Brandon for help to solve this problem. They both conclude it's the psychic's fault, so they quickly go to find the woman who gave her the mysterious tea. The woman confesses that the drink was just regular tea and nothing special. Ollie keeps complaining about her power, but thanks to the psychic, she understands that now that she can read men's minds, she can use this ability to get what she wants. So Ollie quickly sets out to try to sign Jamal. She reads a colleague's mind and learns that tonight the guys are playing poker with Jamal's father. She shows up at the game, and none of her colleagues seem happy to see her. However, they invite her to play during the game. She starts winning against everyone, and in the end, lets Joe win, making Jamal's father very happy. The next day, Ollie finds herself in the elevator again with the attractive guy from before. This time she uses her new powers to see what he's thinking and finds out he actually likes her a lot. The guy starts thinking about how amazing it would be if she kissed him. So Ollie takes the opportunity to throw herself into his arms. The guy takes her to his apartment where she freshens up a bit in the bathroom before getting started. But when she enters the guy's room, it turns out he has some rather peculiar tastes that make her flee the place. At the office, Ollie's colleague Kevin tries to convince Jamal and his father to sign with their company using a video. But the video only offends them because it's a ridiculous, poorly edited and super racist rap video. Ollie hears how the father and son want to leave. So she decides to save the situation and, thanks to her ability, manages to calm them down and convince them to continue the negotiation as they leave the office. Ollie invites them to watch a game from a VIP suite, but Joe turns her down because he still doesn't trust her much as she's not a family woman. Fortunately, Will and Ben arrive just then, so she uses the opportunity to pass them off as her husband and son. The plan works, and she gains Joe's trust. Once alone, Will and Ben return her driver's license, which she forgot at their house. Through the boy, Ollie learns that Will is a widower before they leave. She also invites them to watch the game to keep deceiving Joe. Then Kevin asks her to come to his office to scold her for trying to steal the spotlight. Hearing this, she accuses him of being the one who voted against her, becoming the new partner of the company. But Kevin responds that he actually voted for her because he thinks she's good at her job. However, in terms of her personality, she's unbearable, and that's why everyone hates her. The day the game arrives, Ollie continues to make Joe believe she has a husband and son. The boy mentions to Joe that his birthday is in a week, and to avoid looking like a bad mother, she promises to get him an amazing cake. Later, before leaving, Ollie agrees to go on a date with Will. The next day, Brandon shows her that he has extensive knowledge of sports and could be a great agent, but she still thinks he can't be one to get him off her back. She tells him that a guy in the office has a crush on him. Ollie meets up with Will and one of her best friends at a bar. Ollie realizes that her friend's fiancé is a jerk because he has dirty thoughts about the waitress. The same waitress flirts with Will, but by reading his mind, she realizes that he truly loves her. After enjoying the romantic date at the bar, they go to Will's place. But he has another bad moment. She's disappointed to know he's not enjoying it. But after trying something less intense, they both end up having the best night of their lives. Everything seems to be going perfectly in Ollie's life. Her job is going well, and her father and boyfriend have met and get along quickly. Unfortunately, the next day, her boss calls her in furious because Ethan betrayed them and used the information she gave to Joe to sign Jamal and take him to the Chinese League. Because of this, her boss threatens to fire her, but ultimately doesn't. Just then Will arrives in the boss. Vince's anger by telling him everything Ollie did and how she used him and his son for business. Seeing her life starting to fall apart, she decides to meet with the psychic again to ask her to take away this power that has been ruining her life. However, she gets nothing. The day of her friend's wedding arrives. Ollie gets a little drunk and starts hearing the thoughts of the men present at the ceremony. Among those thoughts, she hears how her friend's fiancé was unfaithful. So she starts shouting the truth. Brandon tries to stop her, but she only hurts him by saying she doesn't consider him a friend. Ollie keeps talking, ruins the wedding, and after revealing several secrets about the man, she causes a fight in which she gets knocked out again by being hit in the head. Later, she wakes up in the hospital and, after listening to the doctor, realizes she lost her powers since no one came for her. She also realizes she lost all her friends. Ollie turns to her father for guidance, then sets about resolving every issue in her life. She goes to the office to apologize to Brandon and then visits Jamal, whom she convinces to stay in the country by treating him like a normal person for the first time. At night, Ollie shows up uninvited to her friend's gathering. She tells them she only wants the best for them and that she regrets how things turned out. At first, the girls don't even want to listen to her, but eventually they forgive their friend. Time passes, and the NBA draft begins where future basketball stars are chosen. Jamal is very happy because his name was announced, and now he can play on the team he always wanted. Joe agrees to sign with Ollie, confident that she'll help his son go far. The next day, Ollie gets the promotion she's been wanting so badly, but she turns down the offer and declares war on them by announcing that she's starting her own company. After that, she goes to Ben's birthday party with the cake she promised him. While there, she takes the opportunity to apologize to Will and ask for a second chance. He accepts, but only on the condition that she always be honest with him. Later, they walk through the park like a real family. And with this scene, the movie ends. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.